Welcome to Spectrum News at 10. I am Emmett Young James coming to you live from Uyo. Let's take a look at today's headlines. President Tinubu reaffirms commitment to funding impactful projects in Abuja. Federal government pledges commitment to promoting restorative justice and right protection. Plus, Trump says Israel agreed to conditions for a 60-day Gaza ceasefire. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in just a moment. Good morning and thank you for joining us. The first in the news this morning is that President Bola Tinubu has once again reassured the residents of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) of his administration's commitment to sustaining the delivery of transformative projects that directly improve lives across the city. The president gave the assurance during the commissioning of the newly constructed Collector Road CN8 at Sukwo Okon Street and its connecting roads within the Dakibiyu district. The road links Artillery Road N5 Obafemi Awolowo Way in Jabi to Arterial Road N1 Olusegun Obasanjo Road in Dakibuyu, a stretch expected to ease movement and enhance economic activity in the area. Speaking on his behalf at the ceremony, Vice President Kashim Shettima conveyed Tinubu's confidence in the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and pledged continuous support to drive infrastructure development in the capital. The president hailed Wike's commitment and fast-paced delivery of projects, describing him as a man whose sense of urgency in the execution of projects is well known to Nigerians. He also emphasized that his administration's goal remains to shape Abuja into a city that works for all residents, regardless of background or location. Away from that, the federal government has pledged its commitment to encouraging measures to promote the deployment of restorative justice in addressing right violation cases. The government called for improved collaboration among national human rights institutions and related stakeholders in West Africa to improve right protection in the sub-region and beyond. Chairperson of the Governing Council of the National Human Rights Commission, Dr. Salamuta Suleiman, expressed the position of the federal government on the issue while speaking in Abuja. Dr. Suleiman, a former Minister of Women Affairs and Foreign Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, spoke at the 2025 Regional Consultation of National Human Rights Institutions in West Africa. She also urged members of the network to walk the talk, adding that the activities of members and stakeholders must be directed at promoting respect for human dignity and encouraging reconciliation. From the Red Chambers, the Nigerian Senate has postponed its scheduled zonal public hearing on constitutional amendment for the Northwest region as a mark of respect for the late elder statesman and renowned philanthropist Aminu Dantata, who passed away recently in Saudi Arabia. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio made the announcement during plenary, noting that the decision followed consultations with stakeholders in the Northwest geopolitical zone. He also added that the Northwest Constitutional Review session would be rescheduled at a later date to be determined in collaboration with stakeholders in the region. The Deputy Senate President, who is currently in Saudi Arabia, is expected to return before a new date is agreed upon. Despite the deferment in the Northwest, the Senate will proceed with with a nationwide zonal public hearings on constitutional amendment proposals, adding that the hearings are selected for July 4th and 5th and will take place concurrently in five other geopolitical zones: Lagos, Southwest, Enugu, Southeast, Ikotekpene, South-South, Jos, North Central, and Maiduguri, Northeast. Meanwhile, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Constitution Review and Deputy Senate President, Senator Baru Jibrin, emphasized the importance of the hearings, describing them as a vital platform for citizens to engage in shaping Nigeria's constitutional future. In a separate development, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Mohamedou Dangyadi, has said children are divinely created to enjoy their adolescent age through play, not to carry heavy loads or engage in rigorous tasks. He said this in commemoration of the 2025 World Day Against Child Labour and Special Children's Conference on the Elimination of Child Labour. According to Dangyadi, children have the right to dream, not to be compelled to work long hours. The minister rallied stakeholders, including the International Labour Organization (ILO), Nigeria Employers Consultative Association (NECA), and organized labour to intensify advocacy for the elimination of child labour in Nigeria. Dangyadi, however, expressed satisfaction that a recent report by the ILO and UNICEF confirms that the number of children involved in child labor around the world has dropped from 160 million to 138 million. In politics, key leaders in the People's Democratic Party (PDP), including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido, ex-Senate President David Mark, and other party bigwigs are reportedly on their way out of the party. This was disclosed in a communique issued shortly after a meeting of concerned leaders of the PDP held in Abuja. Recall that the top opposition figures had held a closed-door meeting to deliberate on a lingering crisis affecting the main opposition party and the way forward. Former governors Aminu Tambuwal, Sokoto, Babangida Aliyu, Niger, Legal Imoke, Cross River, and Sam Ewu Ebonyi, alongside other senior figures, were also present at the meeting. The concerned leaders expressed regret that PDP, which is organic with the discipline, capacity, and history to lead and serve Nigeria, is now a shadow of itself. They called on well-meaning PDP members and other patriotic Nigerians to join the coalition. In another development, the National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA) has confirmed the arrival of 104 Nigerian returnees from Algeria under the Assisted Voluntary Returns programs facilitated by the International Organization for Migration in partnership with the federal government. According to a statement shared via its official X handle, NEMA said the returnees were received by its Lagos Operations Office at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport Cargo Terminal. The group arrived abroad on Air Algeric flight with flight number 70PKT. The returnees comprise 80 adult males, 14 adult females, 2 male children, 5 female children, and 3 infants. Upon arrival, the agency said the returnees underwent biometric registration and documentation by the Nigerian Immigration Service. They were also provided with immediate humanitarian support, including food and water, medical assistance, ambulance services, luggage handling, and other logistic support. NEMA stated that the collaborative efforts were aimed at ensuring a dignified and safe reintegration process for the returnees. We move now to Africa, where Oman's foreign minister joined his Egypt counterpart in Cairo for meetings about regional tensions following the 12-day Israel-Iran war. Bad al-Busadi called on Washington and Tehran to stabilize the ceasefire and return to the negotiating table. The two ministers also discussed the ongoing conflict in Gaza. Egypt's Foreign Minister Bad Abdelati told reporters that the situation is extremely complex, adding that the Israeli side must make its decisions on the ceasefire as quickly as possible. Abdelati noted that Egypt is ready to host an international conference on Gaza's recovery and reconstruction once the ceasefire is reached. On the foreign scene, US President Donald Trump says Israel has agreed to the necessary conditions to finalize a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza. Trump said during the proposed deal, US will work with all parties to end the war. Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Dahon, said that Israel was absolutely ready for the ceasefire, but it was not clear whether Hamas would accept the conditions of the proposed deal. Trump's announcement comes before a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu scheduled for next week, in which the US president has said he could be very firm. Still on the foreign scene, the White House says that the US has halted some weapons shipment to Kiev as Russia's war against Ukraine has intensified. White House spokesperson Anna Kelly said the decision was taken to put Americans' interests first, following a Department of Defense review of US military support and assistance to other countries. The US has sent tens of billions of dollars in military aid to Ukraine since Russia launched its full-scale invasion in February 2022, leading some in the Trump administration to voice concerns that US stockpiles are too low. Reports say the Ukrainian government has not commented on the announcement. Still to come in the news. Ibrahim Gusen takes over as Waffle B president. Stay tuned for details of this in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. On our business news, the federal government has declared an end to what it described as the era of speculative licensing where companies acquired oil blocks but failed to develop them, hence putting an end to the dormant oil fields. This came as the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited revealed the breakthroughs in tackling pipeline vandalism and ensuring full availability of key crude oil pipelines. It however lamented that despite this, Nigeria's crude production still lags behind government targets. Recall that the state-owned firm on Tuesday announced that five of its major crude evacuation pipelines achieved 100% availability between May and June 2025, a milestone in the ongoing effort to stabilize Nigeria's oil infrastructure. In response, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Senator Hennekin Lokbotberry, declared an end to what he described as the era of speculative licensing where companies acquired oil blocks but failed to develop them. Still in business, the Debt Management Office (DMO) has disclosed that federal government of Nigeria's bond accounted for 79.85% of the total domestic debt stock, which stood at 74.86 trillion naira as of March 31st, 2025. The figure was contained in the latest domestic debt report released recently by the DMO. According to the breakdown, federal government of Nigeria's bond amounted to 59.8 trillion naira, comprising 58.39 trillion naira in naira-denominated bonds and 1.41 trillion naira in US dollars dominated bonds. The report also showed that Nigerian Treasury bills made up 16.96% of the total domestic stockpiles, amounting to 12.7 trillion naira, while federal government of Nigeria Sukus stood at 992.6 billion naira, representing 1.33%. On a health news, Nigeria's Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, has said that Nigeria's approach to health issues considers the interconnectedness of human health, animal plant health, and the environment. Speaking at the inauguration of the Ministerial Advisory Committee for the planning of the 2026 High-Level Ministerial Conference on Antimicrobial Resistance, Patel also announced that Nigeria will host the 5th Global High-Level Ministerial Conference on Antimicrobial Resistance in Abuja in 2026. The 2026 conference aims to deliver bold outcomes that would shape global AMR strategies ahead of the 2026 UNGA High-Level Meeting on AMR. It will provide a platform for countries to share innovations, scale up best practices, and commit to achieving AMR-related 2030 targets. The minister said Nigeria took an integrated approach to dealing with issues of health, human health, animal health, plant health, and the environment, which are all interconnected. Still in health, the National Health Research Ethnic Committee of Nigeria (NHREC) has announced the commencement of its electronic protocol submission platform known as the NHREC e-portal. The committee said the move marks a shift in the country's health research landscape as it introduces a digital, streamlined, and secure platform for submission, review, and approval of research protocols across Nigeria. According to the NHREC, public rollout of the portal follows its initial unveiling on October 4, 2024, underwent several phases of refinement and pilot testing to ensure functionality, security, and ease of use. Chairman of the NHREC, Professor Richard Adegbola, in a statement expressed appreciation to the Federal Ministry of Health as well as development partners and sponsors for their technical and financial support throughout the development process. Now to sports where newly appointed president of the West African Football Union WAFU Zone B, Ibrahim Gusand, has officially assumed office. Goswa, who is also the president of the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF), met staff on resumption of duty at the headquarters at the union in Cocody, Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. The football administrator was recently saddled with the responsibility of managing the affairs of Waffle B following the resignation of coach Edwin Simeon Okuraku. Okuraku, the president of Ghana Football Federation (GFA), left the post after he was elected into Confederation of African Football (CAF) Executive Committee. Guswa will supervise an inaugural Waffle B Under-20 Cup of Nations as it would be hosted by Ghana. Meanwhile, the Seven Nation tournament will start next week Thursday in Akure. Still in sport, Novak Djokovic overcame physical issues to join Jannik Sinner in the Wimbledon second round, but third seed Alexander was stunned by Frenchman Arthur, seven-time champion. It could be recalled that Djokovic, who is a seven-time champion, would meet Sinner in the semi-finals, began his latest pursuit of an outright record 25 major title by overcoming Frenchman Alexander Moller 6-1, 6-7, 6-2, 6-2 on center court. Contesting his first Grand Slam match since losing one of the all-time great French Open finals to Carlos Alcaraz last month. World number one Sinner lost just 7 games in dominant 6-4, 6-3, 6-0 win over fellow Italian Luca Nadia. On entertainment news, veteran Nigerian actor Tom Njemazie has appealed to the general public for financial assistance in his battle with cancer. The actor, who is currently receiving treatment in the hospital, made the plea in a viral video circulating on the internet. Sharing the video, filmmaker Stanley on Top revealed that Njemazie has been diagnosed with prostate cancer and recently requires funds for surgery. Reports say Njemazie is known for his performance in Isakaba, Atosa, Pounds and Dollars, or Sophia in London, Egbu Love, and Brain Box. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website at spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James. Enjoy the rest of your day and thank you for watching.